Hello, hello, and welcome to this next episode of Star Trek Reliant. I am Duncan Idaho, your DM for the evening. Tonight we're going to be on a little bit of an adventure romp, written in part by Dr. Eli O'Connor, our Chief Medical Officer. This is the introduction part.
Shit. Hi, yeah, that's me.
And we also have with us our chaplain, played by Grumpy Old Nord.
Greetings and salutations, I am the Grumpy Old Nord. I play both Chaplain Victor Waitley, who is also the ship's counselor, and I play Grimnir Tiberius, the ship's head bartender. There's another character in there somewhere, but she doesn't matter.
Oh, she does matter. So next we've got our con officer, played by Jarlin.
Hi-ho. Courage and Ronnie here. I have to admit that this is the second time we've tried to start the episode, and with the long pause that Eli took there, I feel a little better.
And we've also got our engineer, played by Bazag.
Greetings everyone, Drict here is on duty and he will take care of all of you.
And lastly, but not leastly, we've got our security officer, played by Chorog.
Hello all, I'm JB. I'll be playing Chorog, the security officer, the pirate, the consumer of fine cigars, and drinker of dubious quantities of Warnog.
Yay! And I'll be playing Captain Marcus Graves, as well as Secha Jigoro and miscellaneous NPCs for the evening. So, on the last episode,
Gee, Marcus, don't you have enough to do?
No, I don't. I'm also trying to wrestle a cat right here, right now, who just wants to eat me. So, if you hear my flesh being torn, that's the reason. So, anyway, last episode we got the Reliant back into shape at Epsilon 10, but before we depart, we've got a special briefing with Ensign Philip Cray. Unless people want to have scenes before then. I should probably ask that, because we like the before scenes.
I don't have any.
Yeah, I think you're free to go right into this.
Whee! Okie dokie. So, everyone files into the main briefing room of the little office that Philip Cray has on Epsilon 10. The office may not have always been here, but it's here this week. He's just sitting at the head of the table, reading a datapad, and just waits for everyone to file in.
Upon filing in, Kara casts a few careful glances at Victor. Still remember what happened last time we were in here.
He raises an eyebrow, goes back to reading his datapad. He's sitting perfunctorily at his usual place at the conference table. Glances back up again as he can tell he's still being stared at and says, "May I help you?"
That depends. I may have to help you depending on how this meeting goes. She pats her phaser and grins at him before sitting down.
He quirks an eyebrow, nods, goes back to his datapad.
Marcus Graves takes his seat, looks at Philip Cray, which is basically the signal for the meeting to get started. Cray clears his throat, says, "Alrighty. So, I hope you've had a relaxing few days, off break. Today we're going to be putting you to work."
You do realize that we work every day, right? We do have shifts and everything.
Marcus kind of coughs and says, "Well, we have had a lot of downtime recently."
And, well, to be fair, this is also DTI business rather than General Starfleet business. At least some variation operations.
Okay, but I remember that we got sent to go check out something while the ship was still damaged and sucked into an alternate dimension of a ship graveyard, so you can't blame me if I'm a little bit skeptical generally of our missions.
Waitley quirks an eyebrow, perks his head up and says, "Weren't you asleep for most of that?"
I got the after-action report from Setsa. Besides, Grimnir can attest to it. I wasn't entirely asleep, I was just really drunk.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, don't do that.
So I've noticed.
Cray clears his throat again and says, "So, the reason I've called you here today is that we have a little bit of a pickle, and the DTI has assigned you to unpickle it. How familiar are any of you with the finer points of temporal mechanics?"
Waitley just quirks an eyebrow at him but says nothing.
Well, with recent happenstance, I've been studying up on it. I wouldn't say I am an expert on the subject.
Don't get me. Time isn't
Right.
my thing. Space is.
So, I'll just take it on faith that it's being assigned to you that a ship in 2452 was recently attacked by a species known as the Nikul around Earth. In its attempt to flee, the Nikul ship took in some debris and cargo from that Federation freighter, and that has caused a major disturbance to the timeline across several points. The DTI has been able to handle most of it, but small elements are still interfering with causality, and you have been selected to rectify one part of that.
Hooray.
Oh boy, which part?
Well, specifically, we have detected dilithium in the year 1899 in the territory known as California on Earth.
Ah,
Your job is a relatively simple one. Proceed to that location using the mechanics that we know, or the device that we know is on your ship. Retrieve whatever material is there, in addition to that dilithium signature, and ensure that the timeline is not disturbed unduly. Some minor variation will, of course, even itself out, but we can't afford any major disturbances.
Okay, well, Rick will want to do a bit of history check to see what would be appropriate in terms of technology for the period, materials, clothing, that kind of
So
thing.
do you explain this? So do you explain this to Gray at this moment?
He would say, what information do you have regarding the time period and technologies that would be current?
So Earth at the period is Earth in this region in this period is undergoing industrialization. So you have some primitive alloys as well as primitive fossil fuel power technology. Firearms are restricted to small projectile weapons, and the clothing is simple textiles.
So there are no known dilithium signatures on Earth. Earth doesn't
Absolutely
naturally...
not at this time.
And you're sure
Yep,
this isn't some
and
sort of natural
from-
deposit?
Yep, simply because to the DTI, this did not exist yesterday. Marcus at that point just kind of gives a heavy sigh and says, yeah, we can take care of it. I think we understand the technology on my ship well enough to be able to do this kind of incursion. Do you have a more specific time frame besides 1899? Gray simply says, March 4th would be an appropriate date to get this taken care of. Marcus nods and says, guess we'll get to it then, unless there's anything else. He looks about at the crew.
no questions.
Okay, so traveling back in time to a planet I'm not familiar with no starship. I can tell this is going to be full of my strong points.
Marcus
Waitley,
just-
at that point, raises his hand and says, you forgot a very crucial point in there. Nearly half of us are not human in appearance.
Philip Gray says, you are being supplied with appropriate holographic measures to disguise yourselves. You will not have to chop your legs off.
Waitley
It sounds
chuckled
like a
at
joke,
that.
but his face is just completely serious at that point.
I was under the understanding that humans had 2 legs. I mean, we can see
I was
that you
referencing-
have 2 legs. I have 2 legs.
Gray gives the slight sigh of someone who just did not want to explain that and says, I am familiar with your incursions on Telepotas and the extent to which you had to modify yourselves to blend in with those settings. Those with tails will not have to remove them. Those with any body patternings will also not have to cover those up. Holographic devices will be more than sufficient to blend you in with the population of Earth at this time, and any clothing that you would also care to fabricate would also suffice in disguising you.
Right?
He also
Okay,
says,
sounds like fun.
and
I'll
you
just
will-
go make myself a hot pink sundress.
Waitley resists the urge to facepalm.
Look, I don't know
Marcus
shit
says,
about fuck about
and-
this. You guys are going to have to help me out. This is your planet, not mine.
Marcus looks about the crew and realizes there's no native humans from Earth at this table, besides Potentially Philip Cray, but he's not sure about that. He just says, well...
Eli's from Earth, isn't he?
No, I was born on a starship.
Feck.
And he's also half Trill.
Well, he was the closest, I thought. We're screwed.
Philip Cray says, I have the utmost confidence in your ability to minimally satisfy these mission objectives.
That was a very kind way of saying you don't expect us to bollocks it up too badly.
Marcus, I'll take that. Philip Cray says as well, and you will have access to your ship at this time. We don't have to worry too much about the detection of the Reliant, provided you keep a sufficient distance from the planet. Should still be within transporter range, though.
Cool. I say we grab an asteroid and just send it to wherever the dilithium is. Nature takes care of it and all that.
I believe the most likely town you'll be able to find it is a small establishment known as Eureka, Nevada. Population at this time about 1,400.
Wait.
Asteroids would not be advised.
You said California, though.
Oh, I did?
Well, California territory at that time. I'm actually, I'm
I
not
did
sure
say
by that
California.
time Nevada was its own thing.
Okay. Yeah. So that was my little slip up there. It was initially in California, but where they're going to find it is in Nevada.
So no asteroid then.
No. And let's provide that correction in Cray's voice. So, yay. So, let's see. With that, Cray just taps his data pad on the table and says, is there anything else?
I don't think so, no.
All right. Get to it.
Actually,
Marcus
wait.
At that point,
What's our cover going to be, or is that up for us to decide?
that will be for you to decide.
All right. So who wants to be the snake oil salesman?
Marcus just says, I think you've got someone in mind for that, don't you?
You know what? I didn't until you said that, but yes, now I do.
A certain man on a crew that can probably sell snake oil,
With snake?
mollusk oil. Actually, snake oil with live snake, possibly.
At this point, Waitley is literally face palming.
So, in other words, we should bring Randolph P. Chuckers along with us.
I'm thinking that.
It is
I was
my,
more
Yeah.
joking about the snake oil thing, but yeah, that does.
It is my understanding that at this time Earth doesn't really have a information repository.
No, I don't think so.
So it would be fairly simple to make up crude identities on the fly with no need to fabricate documents.
Local documents we may still need, and we can access Earth's library archives to get appropriate facsimiles. We should also try to have some kind of convincing backstory that would explain us being there and looking around in what might be suspicious circumstances. So with that, Marcus just sort of gestures and...
We are looking for mineral material. Maybe there was... I remember looking it up in the Federation. Is it something called Gold Rush?
Prospectors?
Prospectors, yes.
Yeah, that might be it. We're going to be pretty disconnected, though, for just your standard prospector. So what about something a little bit more academic? Something that might excuse our being fish out of water. Yeah, thinking that. That way we can excuse any incongruity and mannerism to just being from a different social class, for example.
That feels like it's going to get us robbed, but I'm down.
Not everyone needs to play to that. I mean, bringing Chorog and Checkers along, they can certainly play it as support personnel for this expedition.
And
Marcus looks around. Philip Cray's already left, and he just says, we can continue this on board the Reliant. We do need to get the temporal device ready.
Roger that.
should be able to access designs for weapons of the period.
Yeah. Let's also try to find any small tools that'll help us get from point A to point B. I'm thinking some kind of lockpick if we need to bypass any local security measures.
Chorog has lockpicks.
Does he say that he has lockpicks in this meeting?
Chorog had been standing around in a back corner listening in as usual. When he heard talk of lockpicks and antique firearms, he steps forward and says, I have experience with lockpicks, and I know weapons of the time period. I can help with that.
Wait, hold on a second. You know weapons of the time period of Earth in 1899? You're a Nausicaan.
I study, all right? It's a hobby.
Okay, what do you study, Clint Eastwood?
Lee Marvin, who's asking? Lee Van Cleef.
All right. Sounds
There
good.
was a ancient Earth historical film I found that I quite like a lot. You ever heard of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Oh, yeah. Extremely historical. Eli's trying to not laugh right now.
He's an Oscan. He might not appreciate the finer points of cinema. So with that, Marcus just gestures over to the room's exit and leads the group back to the transporter pad, where they return to the starship Reliant.
All right.
Beaming noises.
Beaming
Beam,
noises.
beam, 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 beam.
Beaming noise.
Woo, woo, woo,
Beaming
woo.
noise.
Wait, no.
And they're back on the USS Reliant. So, with that, we're going to need science and engineering to program the temporal device with the coordinates provided, both in space and time.
Mhm.
We'll also need teams to fabricate appropriate disguises and calibrate the holographic disguises for each crew member. So we've got a security tactical thing, potentially with a little bit of medical, and engineering science.
Well, Rick is obviously going to go and do the programming of the time drive.
Radio, and I'll give you Setsujigoro to help out with that as well. Where is Eli going to go in the prep?
He's going to go probably to his quarters, replicate stuff, and get a makeup instead of using a hollow disguise. He's only got spots to hide, he's fine.
And Chorog's going to then be principally in charge of doing some of the fabrication for the rest of the crew. I'm going to also assign Grimnir to, Marcus is also going to assign Grimnir to, or sorry, not Grimnir, I'm just reading the name, Waitley, to prepare the hollow disguises.
Waitley
So
nods
he
and
does
says,
science.
I shall do that at your soonest convenience. And he immediately goes to do it.
I will get
All
to
right,
work at
and
once on the costuming.
and Kara, if you want to supervise too with the programming of the temporal drive, then that would probably be pretty good. Here, quick pause. So, Kara's having some consistent Discord troubles.
Yeah, I seem to be able to talk for a moment at least. So the joke I was going to make is
are
that
you using?
since Grimnir isn't doing anything, Kara goes to Grimnir and gets him to prepare the alcohol for the trip.
Hey, I'm very familiar with this area of human history. It's a lot of fun. I got a list for you. Give me a second. I got a private reserve in the back. Just give me a moment, all right? I'll be right there.
He's excited.
Oh, of course he is. There's alcohol involved. Of course Grimnir's excited. He
Okay, so
he gives a little requisition chip for Kara to redeem down in the cargo bay. He says, "Just do not tell the captain. He won't approve of what I have on his ship."
Mum's the word. You got it.
And Chog's going to come
And-
to take everyone's measurements so the costuming can fit correctly.
Before we get going, so I did want to check in with Kara. So, are you using the app or the browser?
I'm always using the app.
Maybe try the browser if it keeps acting up.
Okay, if I lose it again, I'll try the browser and see what happens.
Okay. So, yeah, fingers crossed though. So, the teams get to work. So, for setting up the temporal machinery, it's going to be Setsa assisting Rick, and Kara can be assisting if she wants to be in this as well. It's going to be a reason engineering check.
Yeah, Kara's not going to be good at that.
Okay. So you're helping Grimnir with the booze.
Hey, at least it's something she knows.
So let's see. So Rick, you will need. I'm just pulling up your sheet right here.
17.
Holds. All right. And since it's going to be assisting, you will need at least 2 successes.
We don't have any momentum yet.
No.
None of my focuses would apply.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the first roll of the game. We have no momentum yet.
Yeah.
No, I'd say 1 would. Experimental technology.
Alrighty then. Alright, doing the roll. Oops. Forgot to put the exclamation mark. Okay, 2 11s.
Yeah, alrighty. And then Seth is going to be assisting. And you will provide an additional success. So you build 1 momentum. Yay! So you're able to very efficiently program the temporal device to be able to transport you to about March 4th and in the proximity of Earth. Not too close. That also helps avoid any unfortunate incidents with temporally beaming into the planet. And yeah, you're pretty confident that you're going to be able to transition just fine there. So for Chorog, your job now is to track down members of the crew and to take their measurements. You've replicated a small Federation device that's able to give those scans. The question is finding each member of the crew that's going to be going down there. You know it's going to be the senior staff as well as this person named Randolph B. Checkers, which you have some contact with. So first off, you must find Checkers.
Checker shouldn't be too hard to find. He's usually down by engineering, working on one of his brews.
Is he, though?
No. He doesn't work in engineering. He works in the Jeffries tubes. No one
so Chorog arrives in main engineering and finds no Randolph B. Checkers.
I do find a Richter.
So, must scan Richter. Do you ask to scan Richter?
Excuse me, Commander Richter. I need to take scans of you so your costuming can fit correctly. If you have a few moments, this will only take a second.
Yeah, just a quick moment and beep. Alright, I am ready to be scanned.
1 second. As Chorog runs the device from head to toe, enters the information from the scan into a data pad. Said, Commander, during that time, everyone walked around armed. Would you prefer a pistol, rifle, or shotgun?
It would be good for us having a variation. What are your plans?
I am packing two 1871 Colt Navy pistols.
Then I might try to go for perhaps a longer range rifle.
I will arrange to have a lever action rifle for you. It is known as an 1871 Winchester.
That sounds good. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, sir.
Setsa pipes over and
says, do I have to go armed?
Then, in that time period, it was a very dangerous time. Everyone walked around armed, whether it was pistol, rifle, shotgun, or derringer.
Suppose I'll go with a pistol.
I can have you carry a Colt Peacemaker. Very easy operation. All you have to do is point and pull the trigger.
I have a feeling, though, that the way it makes peace is still rather violent.
Just have it as a weapon of last resort. Let's just put it that way.
I like to think of it as a negotiator, but I suppose, do you need to take my measurements as well?
Yes, this will only take 1 second. Trog takes the scan, scans a quick head to toe, enters the information into his data pad.
I'm going to have you have to roll for this.
Oh, okay.
So let's go ahead and you're working the device. So let us say you need 1 success on a medicine insight roll.
Okay. Come on.
All right. Although the scan for a moment is a little fuzzy, you're able to get a reasonable read of her measurements. So you have that for your database.
All right. I'm off to go track down more members of the crew.
So, Waitley, you are preparing the holographic devices for each crew member. Eli has informed you that he won't need one since he's going au natural, or he's using makeup. And Marcus is going to be relatively easy to blend in. Bryce has also been contacted to accompany on the mission, and he'll only need a little bit of makeup to fit in precisely. So, that leaves Kara, Setsa, Rick, and Chorog.
So Waitley, upon hearing about everything, did what Whately does, and he immediately went to his little science station and started researching and found a plethora of historical documents regarding the time, both fictional and non-fictional. And he has been studying in that rapid way that he has, and he has developed a wide range that should last for some significant amount of time, and has even started producing written backstories in little replicated journals that would fit into the time. I'm imagining you're going to make me roll for this.
I will make you roll for this. Now, this is a relatively large task, and one that's going to require a lot of concentration. If old impulses start kicking in, you might say, add in elements that could be problematic, or embarrassing, or difficult for the people to work with. So, you're going to need 2 successes, and I'm going to be spending 4 threat. So your complication range is 16.
I still have no idea what I'm rolling, though.
I'm looking that up right now. So, let's go with, well, it's gotta be science, and let's just go with science reason. So your target is 15. 2 successes! The demons do not strike today. And Whately comes up with some rather thoughtful and easy to utilize backstories for each of the away team members. So the general gist of it is that the core of the away team, the central members, so starting with Rick, but also including Marcus and Setsa, and Whately himself. These are academics doing geological and some paleontological research out in California. You're on your way back to Massachusetts, and with your assistants as well, which includes Kara, Chorog, Eli, and Bryce, covering the range of just general assistant to hired gunman. Any other embellishments you want to throw on top of that?
Nothing that I'm going to specify. Basically, I just kind of leave it open with lots of little notes that people could read it and go, ooh, I like this idea. I want to use that idea. You know, Whately's being the good counselor and making it easy for people to fit into the roles that they're supposed to play.
Good. So we've got this equal split.
But he is coming up with a wide range of outfits that literally they just have to type it into their tricorder and it bloop, does the thing.
Although we are also making physical outfits too, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So the holographic disguises, let's just say, covers basically the body, whereas the outfits cover the rest, and with some modifications to holographic systems, just for the most authentic and least risky set of holographic disguises.
And Whately had a thought. He was going to find a way to holographically disguise the phasers to look like weapons of the time. But as he had that thought, he kind of looked up into space for a second, knowing Kara and Eli and Chorog. He's like, nah, they won't like that idea. Never mind. I'll let them bring their own weapons.
Yay! So there's a knock at the door from one Mr. Chorog.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I need to take your measurements so your costuming can fit correctly, as well as your preference for firearm.
Whately smiles and just hands over a pad and says it's all there, including some things you may find interesting. And he's put all the data that he has found, all the stuff that's on the replicated journals is on there, all the outfits that he has come up with from reviewing all the historical basically all his research is on this pad.
Thank you very much. It saves me a little bit of time.
He smiles and says, I do enjoy helping.
All right, now I'm off to the cargo bay to go try to track down Kara.
At this time, Chorog nearly trips over something.
What the hell?
A small blue tardigrade carrying around a fluffy yellow blanket looks up at him and
says, Mr. Big Spaceman, you are going on a mission, right?
Tardigrade? Where'd that come from? Yes, we are.
Ooh, I want to go on mission too someday.
give me a minute to think about that. I might be able to bring you along on this.
Oh, yes! I'm so happy. I get to go on mission. Smarty doesn't get to go on mission. Artie doesn't go on mission. I go on first mission. Is that good, right?
I can give you a holographic disguise. You can, no offense, but you could tag along as my dog.
Like that puppy creature, right? That goes woof.
Yeah, big dog goes woof, big bite.
Oh, bite.
And at that point, Skipper just starts gnawing at the blanket, which would worry anyone else, but Chorog is just, sure.
I like him.
Her.
Sorry.
Here's
So-
doesn't need a weapon choice shit.
So, Kara, so Chorog then proceeds to try to find Kara in the cargo bay as relayed to you by the main computer.
Kara's busy taking very good inventory of all the nice little things that Grimnir has pointed her to. She muses to herself that this is probably way more than is needed for the mission.
Chorog wanders into the cargo bay and sees Kara unloading mass quantities of alcohol. And caught the very last part thinking about too much and says, "You can never have too much alcohol in the old Wild West. Those guys were plastered from sunup to sundown. And then some.
My kind of people.
While I'm here, if you don't mind, I need to take your measurements so I can make sure the costuming fits correctly and make sure you are armed correctly."
Yeah, but if you laugh at my measurements, I'm gonna punch you.
I would never do that. Alright, Chorog proceeds to initiate the scanner, and let me do my roll.
Yep, you're gonna have to roll for this one too. What would be not completely terrible?
Laughs.
You know what? No. You
Scanner
just
just says
failed. You
measurement.
didn't get a complication. So you just failed at that scan. So it just says error, retry.
Chorog takes his scanner and whacks it a couple of times with his hand and tries again.
Your complication range is also 18 because I'm spending 2 threat, but it doesn't matter because you get 1 success, meaning that you've successfully logged Kara's measurements.
There we go. Just
And
did a little attitude adjustment.
And Marcus Graves is going to be the easiest one to come by next because you just have him. Actually, no. You got him, Bryce, and let's just put them both on the bridge together right now. And you've got Randolph P. Checkers to try to find.
I'll need to crawl through the Jeffries tubes to go try to find him.
There's a lot of Jeffries tubes, though.
Oh,
You
man.
just started.
I'll smoke him out.
Alright, so first of all, you're going to have to roll Insight Engineering with a target of 2 successes.
Is that just 2d20 13?
Yep. You've got 2 successes, meaning that by good luck and hunter's instinct, you have actually managed to navigate towards the latest project box of one Randolph P. Checkers. So what is Randolph P. Checkers doing today?
He is in his Jeffrey's tube, crap, what do you call the bee thing?
The bee thing, as in like the...
The apiary?
Apiary, yes, you found his Jeffrey Tube's apiary.
Oh god! Okay.
There's bees on this ship.
Yes.
Those
Welcome,
aren't the only bees. I'm sorry I had to.
You found my project. I have to move it again. And again, unless you're not going to snitch like John almost did, right?
You got me in for part of the profit of whatever you're doing, and I ain't saying a word.
Deal.
All right, let's find a place where you can stand up tall, because I need to take your measurements for your costuming.
Costuming?
Yes, we are going back to the Wild West, the 1890s Earth.
Ooh.
I need to make sure your costuming is fit for the period, as well as make sure you arm yourself correctly. So if you have any kind of revolver, rifle, shotgun that is 1870 going forward, that would work.
I have a Mauser. Will that work?
What year is it?
Hold on. Pretty sure.
1899.
Perfect. Bring that. Bring lots of ammunition. This could get messy. Also, if you have a pistol, bring that as a backup.
Well, that's what a Mauser is, a pistol.
Oh, I thought. What kind of is it? What kind of pistol is it? Like an automatic pistol, or what is it?
Semi-auto. 1886. Or 90s. No,
What's it- what's it-
96.
What's it, like a broom handle Schmeiser?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'll work. It'll raise some eyebrows, but it'll work.
It's okay, we'll get him to do a bad German accent.
Even better.
Alright, but he slaps Chorog on the shoulder. Lead the way. He's still in a bee suit, by the way. Should we make him roll not to anger the bees?
Yes, you are rolling to not anger the bees. It's been a lot of conversation, too, and they aren't particularly happy, so I'm going to spend another 2 threats in order to lower your complication range down to 18. So to not anger the bees, you're going to have to pass a or a presence command roll, just to have the right intonation to not have angered the bees.
That's for both of us.
Yes.
I'm in a bee suit, so it
If
doesn't
either of you,
matter much. You're the only one at risk here.
if either of you fails, there's going to be bees.
Wait, what's the roll again?
Presence command with a complication range of 18.
That is too easy, Hollicent. My complication is just above my success for checkers.
He is one with the bees. I mean, if you want to do something more ridiculous, you can, you got 2 successes anyway. So, Chorog, you become one with the bees.
You be vibing.
I need to behave.
You should do Austin Powers joke. Rising.
Oh, behave.
God damn it.
So, Chorog, command presence roll.
We're making him do all the rolls today.
Also, you've built up another point of momentum for not angering the bees, Eli.
Okay, there you go.
Oh! Complication range was 18. You've rolled a 7 and a 19. While you have smooth talked some of the bees, another part of the hive is not jiving with what you're rolling today. So they attack. Chorog.
Oh, goddamn!
Listen, you're tense. It's making them tense. You feel guilty. They can smell your guilt.
These are worse than glob flies.
Do not hurt any of them. I need them. They are my friends.
I'm really worried about what's going on with Checkers right now.
Get me the hell
He's just
out of here.
I just imagine him standing, just turning to someone who's coming down the Jeffries tubes. He kind of enshrouded, just wreathed by light, and then the bees kind of arc around and descend upon the intruder. And he just smiles.
I love it. It's canon now.
I don't think so, but apparently that's what's happening. So Chorog is able to get out of the Jeffries tube without injuring too many bees. They are crafty little buggers, and he is able to basically escape with only minor bee-related injuries.
Oh my god, Checkers is Dr. Bees.
Dr. Bee! So with that, it's going to be child's play to basically hop up to the bridge and get your last few scans. So I'll have you basically work on that in the background here as we move on. So we've got our ship, we've got our crew assembled, and they are mainly on the bridge at this point. Marcus gives the order to depart from Epsilon 10, get some distance away before they activate the temporal MacGuffin. Looks at Karin, says, "We all ready for this?"
I mean, on a universal scale, is anyone ever ready for anything, sir?
Not especially.
Right, so punch it.
All right. Heard the Ibby. So, we're going to have to do a ship roll. And I'm going to have to look at the ship for a second. There we go. All right. Because Kara's at the helm, I'm going to have you make the roll. But this is going to be a computer's science roll. So target is 13. The base, and anyone is able to assist can do so. 2 successes. Do we have anyone want to assist to add on to that?
We got a 10
Give
out
them
of
more
12. I'd
momentum.
say we're probably pretty good.
No one's just going to risk, trying to get that into a 13 or get 3 successes there and build up a 3rd point of momentum.
I could add on to it. How do I do that?
Well, yeah, Chorog doesn't really isn't going to be helping directly. I was kind of angling for Rick or Whately.
Okay.
Wait, what was I supposed
But
to do?
if not, there's science stuff going on right now. So the ship is transitioning to the ancient past using the temporal MacGuffin on the ship. So we've just rolled 2 successes on that, which is enough to get us back there. But I was angling because I said anyone can assist. Angling if anyone wants to try to assist and earn more momentum.
Ah, okay, I gotcha. I never think of Whately as like a science officer. He's a medical counselor officer, but you are right.
He's technically the
yes.
science.
Yep.
He is
you're
the
right.
ranking science officer on the ship right now.
Oh God, that's a scary thought.
So, yeah. So it's going to be a reasoned science roll. And that's another success. So you've built a 3rd point of momentum. Yay.
Woo! Whately did something good.
Actually, yeah, you both assisted there, so you actually built up 2 points. So now you've got 4 momentum because you both assisted, and we are very precisely in proximity of Earth on the date, March 4th, 1899. Marcus gives the order to scan and verify the coordinates, and they have. And then Marcus says, all right, let's go ahead and find that dilithium. Chaplain, go ahead and scan the planet for dilithium signatures, as well as any unusual alloys that may be present, or technological signatures.
He does so, both using his sensors and his woo-woo sensors. Yes, that is
All right.
officially what I'm calling them out of character now, his woo-woo sensors.
So the woo-woo sensors are the actual sensors are the ship is going to be able to assist on this one, so that is going to be a complication. Unless anyone wants to, unless the group wants to re-roll that.
But I didn't even roll for that yet.
That's the ship's roll.
Ah, okay. Do we want to spend a point of momentum there?
I say we keep it.
I mean, we would have to spend determination, I think, for the ship, since it's not our role.
Oh, that's true.
Alrighty, so that's going to stick. So, Victor, it's all on you. Reason, actually, insight science roll.
The same. Okay. 2 successes.
2 successes. So while you are able to identify the location of the dilithium, you also get a few residual temporal echoes, which leads you to start questioning whether or not another ship is out there.
So Whately imparts this knowledge to Captain Graves, and as he does so, he says, and considering the presence of dilithium in a time and location which should not have any, I had already assumed to be the case.
All right. Graves gives a heavy sigh, kind of arches his fingers together and looks at the planet. Says, we should have the Reliant on standby just in case there is something else out there. We can transport to the planet, but that's probably going to alert anything that's in a proximity to that event, so let's be ready to act. Larissa, while the away team is on the planet, you have command, and your priority is protecting the away team as we secure the temporal, or we secure any temporal anomalies that will be on the planet. Assisting is Reliant's primary objective here. We can handle the rest. So, any last minute preparation we need to make?
Well, Whately is also going to do his wee-woo sensors. He is going to focus on the planet, specifically where he's detecting the dilithium location at, and see what he picks up psychically.
Righto, deploy the wee-woo sensors. Let's go with Insight Command.
1 success.
One success. So what you're able to pick up is that there is a small town around the current location of the dilithium. It's the mix of basically it's not anything too surprising. Just the mix of people going about their day, living relatively hard lives, bit of fear, bit of excitement. You notice some particular excitement though. Around the town, but you're not able to locate where that might be. It's a relatively small location, so it's got a general shop, it's got a saloon, barber, sheriff, stables, and the train station as well as a small tailor shop. But yeah, that's about all you can really pick up at this range. So nothing particularly helpful, but just a little excitement going on down there.
So Whately imparts that knowledge that something going on there has got the townsfolk excited, although I can't quite decipher what it is.
All right.
Uh,
That might be able to give us some bit of a lead.
Yeah, Rick will also start preparing some disguised tricorders as like books and things like that. So
All right, and that'll be relatively simple, and Starfleet undoubtedly has some schematics already in play, so you're able to fabricate some tricorder books that will easily do the part. So with that, Graves gives the order. All right, away team, assemble and transport to room 1. And Chorog, make sure you bring the equipment down there so we can suit up.
The equipment is ready. I will have it with me there in a minute.
So, crew starts filing down. Setsa is with Kara as they walk along and just gives her a little bit of a hip bump and says,
So, Kara, we're, two lovely people coming along, and do you have any thoughts about our backstory?
I was kind of hoping that nobody asked.
Aww.
But,
Don't really think of anything?
Marcus had that whole big, idea about us being... Or was it No, that was Rick. Had the idea about us being prospectors. And Whately passed out these journals. She actually opens her journal to see what her backstory is, according to Whately.
Should I have some fun with it or go with what Duncan said earlier?
I vote for fun.
Fine.
Sorry, I'm dying laughing. He has her written up to be a new courtesan for town to entertain the local villagers and miners.
So Kara reads this off and then looks over at Setsa. Seems legit.
Setsa, go ahead, reads her bio.
He would have had her written up to be an assistant for the archaeological dig, since she would fit best in with them.
That's it. Well, I'm an archaeological assistant, and, that seems to work out pretty well. What are you?
I am a lady of the night. I thought that was obvious from what I just read.
Oh, sorry, I was reading. So,
No, it's, apparently, Whately uses more flowery terms, but apparently I get to be, I get to be the new whore in town.
Setsa's face just goes completely blank at that.
I don't know. I like this. It doesn't put a whole lot of expectation on me.
Okay. If you need help, if anything, goes wrong, I'll be there to assist, so don't worry.
I wouldn't worry about that. If they can't take a no, I've got a loaded left arm. And if that doesn't work, I got a shotgun.
That would be quite the persuasion mechanism.
I heard there's an old Earth saying about that. You can get more of what you want with a kind word and a gun than you can with just a kind word.
Yeah, I'll just have to get a little bit more used to that for this time period. Just hoping things don't get too bad. I mean, we are, on temporal mission, so hopefully no one has to, get hurt.
Oh yeah, good point. I'll shoot him in the leg.
With that, Kara gives a heavy sigh and they enter the transporter room. Marcus is in there getting his outfit together, which is basically a copy of Captain Malcolm Reynolds' outfit from Firefly.
So
He looks over and...
Kara gets into her outfit, and at least at first it doesn't really seem to fit her backstory because she's got, a thick blue shirt, a light blue dress, the gun belt with the, shotgun loaded into it, and a rattan cowboy hat, along with a scarf tied around her neck. She looks at her outfit and then back at the journal. Maybe I better think of a different backstory. This doesn't seem to fit.
Marcus calls over, what do you get? Or what did you get?
Well, I got Lady of the Night, but she turns to look at Duncan. I do not look very Lady of the Night-ish.
I don't think so from what I've seen, but who knows? Maybe they like to be a little bit more discreet. I mean, Whately, you did a lot of research for this, right?
Correct. The outfit that I chose for her for landing party is so that she blends in and no one assumes anything. But once we settle in, there are other things in the book that will be more fitting for the occupation.
Marcus pinches his nose and says, "All right, well."
Kara looks over at Waitley and with a faux Western accent says, "All right, keep your eyes up where I can see them or I'll set them spinning."
Marcus takes a look back at his journal to what Waitley has written for the captain.
I think Grimnir may be recovering from laughter over on his end.
Just a bit. Just a bit. What Waitley would have written up for Graves is that he is a bounty hunter and has a history of working in law enforcement back east. And due to things he prefers not to speak of, he has chosen to come west.
Marcus is just nodding at that. Kind of pats the sidearm he has, just a standard Colt revolver, as well as his Winchester repeating rifle. Says, "Yeah, that's pretty good." He just looks about his crew and says, "All right, let's test out the holo disguises."
Trog is the last to get ready.
No,
Putting
there's still two missing.
Yeah, so Rick has already got his holographic disguise on as he arrives, so you see this man enter the transporter room that none of you have ever seen before. Like this short black hair, like some black I was gonna say shovel, but I don't think. I'm just trying to think.
Kara immediately shushes everybody and says, "All right, let's have some fun. Let's try to guess who this is."
We're going to have to roll for that. It's going to be an inside command roll.
Chorog still hasn't looked at his journal yet.
Holy crap, Kara actually made this roll.
And general rule, if someone fails, they speak first. I gotta find, there we go. Yep. Seth is going first. So, with 2 successes, you build, let's say, so we don't go too high, just a point of momentum. And Setsa completely blanks. She just says,
Hi there. Are you lost?
I didn't think my disguise would be that good. He sets down this backpack that he's wearing. Whatever, like there'd be some kind of backpack. I'm not sure, like
a rucksack?
Rucksack kind of thing. And pulls out a number of the tricorder books and just starts handing them out. I replicated these so that while we're scanning, we don't stand out as much. We can just look like we're reading or writing to this book.
Huh. Thanks,
Excellent
Rick.
work. At the mention of Rick, Setsa
Goes, "Oh, Rick."
and it becomes apparent that she still didn't even recognize him when he was talking.
So what has Watley written for Chorog?
He is an associate of Graves, but he has also been hired to basically, whereas Graves is a bounty hunter, Chorog is a mercenary who has been hired by the academic team for protective detail.
Perfect.
He also doesn't speak much of himself, but mostly because he's usually too drunk to talk.
Even better.
And at this moment, Randolph P. Checkers enters the room. If you look in game time chat, I've just posted the picture of his outfit.
Oh my freaking god.
I like that.
About what I expected.
So describe. Let me
Kara just
describe
immediately
for
looks over and points at him and goes, "Nice hat."
Thank you.
what you see as you walk in is a magnificent man dressed in a black and slightly gold-trimmed suit with a double-breasted vest and a tie tucked neatly into it from his white shirt collar. He's got his usual... Oh, and he's also got, a very fancy Western style holster belt. His usual mutton chops are there, above which are a pair of small circular spectacle glasses and a top hat, wreathed in gold ribbon.
And he's got some nice rings on. And in the
Setsa will
holster,
clap.
In the holster is the Mauser pistol, the broom handle.
So Setsa at that point claps and then proceeds to get changed. And what about Dr. Eli O'Connor?
He is currently running late.
Alrighty.
Kara looks around. Well, I guess I got rations for everybody to hand out if, Eli's going to be a little late. I guess, he'll get last dibs.
I've already got supplies in my rucksack here.
Okay. For everybody else, Kara, pulls out, among other things, a couple whiskey bottles, some beer, some hardtack, some other, some pemmican, some various things that she got off the replicator that apparently would have been around at the time period for people to have. She's also using it to kind of launder Grimnir's contribution, so that people don't know where that came from.
Chorog pulls a cigar out of his coat pocket and says, well, I guess I better learn how to smoke these. Eating one of these would turn heads, don't you think?
Indeed it would, my friend, Checker says as he lights a match on his shoe and lights his own cigar before offering to light Chorog's.
Chorog holds the cigar up to the match, and lights it, and takes a few puffs. Hey, this is even better than eating them.
I know, right? It's even better with whiskey. Try it. He offers a bottle of whiskey.
Kara watches the two and just adds a couple cigars to the rations for both of them and herself.
Setsa looks over.
And says, well, I just got a couple of cookies in my handbag. Is there anything you think I should have?
Well, Kara looks at her kind of helplessly and says, yeah. And she passes Setsa a canteen of water and also some hardtack along with a bit of pemmican. He says, okay, so this is full of water. You can get more at just about any freshwater area on the planet. It may not be entirely pure, but you're just going to have to kind of deal with that. As for this is called hardtack, and it's extremely hard preserved bread. If you can't eat it, try dousing a bunch of water on it and then trying again. And this is pemmican. This is ground up animal fat and animal meat, dehydrated so that it will last a long time. Please keep these with you, just in case you get cut off from the group.
I will. I mean, I didn't completely fail survival training back at the academy.
Word of advice. If you're thirsty and you come across a long trough of water, don't drink from that. That's where horses drink.
Long trough of water equals horse water. Got it.
Marcus taps his comm badge and says, Graves to O'Connor. You okay?
He gets a response. I'm just down the hall. Sorry, was finishing up my outfit. I was thinking about cutting my hair. I really didn't want to cut my hair.
I think your hair is fine for this.
I forgot a hat, but oh well. I'm gonna do
just get you a hat down here.
No, I'm fine without a hat. I think the outfit doesn't really go with the hat. I'm gonna do a quick roll to see something.
Marcus, while you're saying this, just says, are you sure you don't want a hat? I mean, we do want to make sure we're blending in as much as possible.
I think I could do without a hat.
All right. And as the conversation proceeds, Setsa is in a basically long plaid skirt and white blouse with a broad sun hat, and she's just looking very much the academic in the setting. Carefully stores her rations, makes a few extra notes, including black-haired man equals Rick.
And Eli enters, spinning the revolver on his finger, trying to look like he knows what he's doing, but he's only got a basic grasp. This is how he is dressed.
Alright, as you're spinning the revolver, I'm going to make you roll security daring.
Actually, that's what I just did roll.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Then it doesn't cause a horrible incident. You're good.
Plus, it's single action, so it wouldn't cause incident unless the hammer was pulled back.
Gotcha. So, there we go. So, Eli O'Connor is dressed in a hard-wearing blue jacket with a kind of gray blue jacket.
That's black leather. That's the lighting.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
So he's in a black leather jacket with blue jeans, a red vest with a few gold buttons, a large buckle, and what looks like a bit of a blue handkerchief tied for his tie.
a
above
puff
his
tie,
white.
actually.
It's a what tie? Oh,
It's
puff
a-
tie. Okay.
Yeah, it's a puff tie, and he's got the woven gun belt.
Here we go. So everyone is good to go at this point. So Marcus looks at the transporter officer and says, "All right, we need a relatively innocuous location. Let's try to bring him in all at once. Coming into town might look a little bit suspicious, so let's go ahead and split us off into some groups."
question.
Kara sets in. Yep.
Should we? No. I was gonna say we don't have horses here, so that wouldn't make sense. How are we doing? How are we are we just walking in, or?
Yeah, I think we should try to infiltrate our way into town and just try not to make an issue of how we got in. So people can make up their own mind. If you're explaining, like, for example, like, oh, I got here in a wagon, you might ask which wagon. Whereas if you just leave that unstated, hopefully they won't say anything.
All right.
All right, so let's just go ahead, try to find easy ways of walking into town.
We haven't transported down yet, have we?
No. Graves is just giving the transporter officer orders.
Waitley
Or
raises
trying
his
to.
hand and says, I actually have a suggestion, if I may. And he pulls out his tricorder and says, I have the record of all the train schedules. And when I did my scans earlier, I located a train that is about to come into town that we could quietly beam aboard. And therefore all come in at the same time. Easily, conveniently
All right,
explainable.
That's
At your
That's good.
permission,
Let's
Captain.
go with that.
Best place to beam him is the
I can
baggage
get-
car. There's usually nobody in there.
All right. Waitley, I'll go ahead and leave that up to you. Provide the transporter officer with the coordinates, and let's get on the
Waitley
path.
does so?
And they do. So, with these expert coordinates, you have no trouble beaming onto the train. Now, what part of the train do they actually beam onto, according to Waitley?
Waitley would have taken Chorog's suggestion and directed the transporter officer to the rear of the chain where the baggage cart is.
So that's where they appear. The train is just coming into stop at the station, and we can use that opportunity to take our break as basically the away team transports in, and the train comes to a stop at the town. And we are back from break. The train is pulling into a stop. You hear the screeching of the brakes, as well as the bustle of some of the passengers in the next compartment over. As you open the door into the next compartment, you notice a small dog rush from the baggage cart into the main area and out the door the other side. You are now at the station and are free to get started. So what does everyone do?
Waitley is going to step off the train and pull his book out and surreptitiously do a scan for the direction of the dilithium.
All right, go ahead and make a insight science roll.
2 successes.
2 successes. However, what you notice is that there's some strange interference. So you're able to pinpoint that it's within 500 meters of your current position, but you're unable to detect exactly where it is. It's a surprisingly fuzzy reading.
That's interesting, Waitley says.
So Kara looks down, I guess, the main street of town and takes stock of the various businesses and people around there. You don't have to tell me everything, just tell me if there's anything in particularly interesting.
So there's a general store, there's a small tailor shop right next to that. There's a sheriff's office, there's a barber shop, there's a stable as well, and a few what appear to be miscellaneous houses and other small buildings that might be small businesses, might just be regular abodes, you're not quite sure.
Kara's eyes fixate on the sheriff's office, and she looks around and says, I think I got an idea. If I can make this believable enough.
Do you need any help?
If you want to come along, it might help to sell the story.
Alright, yeah, I'll come.
Alright, let's go talk to the sheriff.
All right, it's a very short walk over to the sheriff's office. And it's a pretty efficient, clean-looking building, although inside it has quite a bit of rare and a little bit of miscellaneous stains on the floor, which could be booze, could be some type of chemical, or could potentially be blood. There's one man sitting behind the counter, just in a pair of brown slacks with suspenders and a rolled-up white shirt. Gives you a look and says, "Hi, can I help you, ma'am?"
Sure can, Sugar. You see, me and my friend here, we were just new in town, and we were looking for a nice, quiet place to stay for a while. There's been a lot of trouble out east, you understand. I would hope that this place is pretty safe looking. You look like you're a pretty honorable sheriff, so I imagine there's not too much trouble or anything strange in town, right?
He gets up, gives you a look. I'll have to roll for it. Gives you a look and says, "Not looking for trouble, eh? Quiet spot? I may not be an honorable man, but I am an effective sheriff. Say that any trouble doesn't stay troubling for long around these parts. If you're looking for somewhere to stay, I know the saloon's got a few rooms. Otherwise, you can try to find the bed of someone in town if you can charm him just right."
Ah, Sugar, now what kind of girl do you think I am?
And gives you a look and says, "I'll give you 3 guesses. One of them might get me slapped in the face."
Tara giggles. Well, I'm glad to hear that there's no trouble in town, Sheriff, but if I need anything else, I'll be sure to come on back for you.
You try that. We'll see how it goes. He just sits down, puts his hat over his eyes, and just says, "Like I said, I'm efficient when it comes to trouble."
Tara just vacates the sheriff's office and looks over at Setsa and says, "Well, we didn't learn too much, but we learned that there's probably not a whole lot of crime around here, at least."
That is most gratifying.
Well, no other strange news, so maybe somebody else will come across something.
Yeah, hopefully.
So does anyone proceed to a different location?
For the moment,
Whately's gonna look for. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. My bad.
Yeah, sorry. Rick's actually a bit his focus is not actually on the mission right now. It's sort of got focused on the actual train and the train station and the mechanics and just how things worked back when Earth wasn't anywhere near as technological as it was. So he's sort of engrossed in the train a bit.
So Bryce puts a hand on Rick's shoulder and says, "Rick, are you alright?"
So he sort of startles a bit. Yes, right, we should probably go find some information. Where would that... Is this
The common convention is the saloon, although we may inquire with any miscellaneous group of townsfolk for any information they may have. Small social clusters like that may be able to spread information more freely than at any centralized location, where others may be easily overhearing.
Alright, well, Rick's gonna start looking out for any grouping of people that might be around. Well, we should at least start walking around looking.
So, what you see is a man in what appears to be a set of, kind of just like a chef's apron, operating what appears to be a small cart near to the train station, surrounded by a small group of people who appear to be examining his wares.
Alright, Rick will approach and, good day, sir. I'm new to town. I'm just wondering, if you happen to know of any, interesting occurrence recently.
The man kind of gives you an odd feeling. He appears, well, he's human, but he appears somehow imp-like. Skin's relatively dark, and his eyes dart around a little bit oddly, but just seems to be eccentric to you at this point.
He says, good morning. I see you are coming off the train, yes? Must be tired after that long journey and the food on there. Can't say that such preserved stuff would find you agreeable.
Well, right now, looking forward to a more, comfortable area for us. But just click some information. And he actually looks around. I don't think I want to check if I actually thought that I'd bring any money, because I don't think any of us mentioned that.
No, none of you did. So you're going to have to now. I'm going to let you make a roll for it. So let's go with command. Just command control, just to have the idea that you actually remembered to bring money.
Okay, so that's 15 for Rick. And no,
you did not bring any money.
Oh, unless I seem to have misplaced my coin purse.
Disregardable. Hassan, though, Hassan is not a man who will turn away traveler at just the lacking of some coin. Though in return, Hassan must get something in return. So, you have no coin. What might you offer me of interest?
Well, I am a bit of a academic, coming here to study the area's geology and look for any signs of paleontology. I just can't form the words right now. And, you know, Rick sort of just struggles a bit with the word as well. Paleontological. That'll do. I'm not going to try again. So, if you need, I'm also a bit of a tinkerer, so if there is any assistance you need with machines or various knowledges.
This is most fortunate. My cart here, it carries my wares. I mean, there's a few trinkets and stuff, but what I pride myself on...
He opens the cart up. Inside is just this steaming mass of meat in broth, and it just strikes you as incredibly spicy. He says,
This cart, though, it's seen better days. Oh, really?
God damn it, hit the wrong button. So, Hassan says, this cart has seen better days. It holds my wares, it holds my special broth, but the weight is proving to be too much for the axle. If you could provide a little bit of assistance with that, or a small repair, I might pay in a little bit of information, as well as a taste of my delicious, delicious affection here.
Alright, well, he's going to do a stress materials analysis of the situation, pulling out his book and pretending that he's just filing, looking up for some figures or numbers in a book, and just using that to do a quick scan of the cart and see what it needs to be done to it.
So that's going to just be a very simple insight engineering roll. It is a simple wooden cart with bits of metal.
Okay. One success.
One success. You recognize that the wood is splitting a little bit, so a little bit of reinforcement with some metal brackets would be able to hold it just fine.
So he goes in for a closer look at the area, and says, well, some simple reinforcement should suffice. I don't actually have any spare metal on me, but if we have something we can use to brace for it.
Bryce at this point just offers up. It's like, yeah, I should be of assistance here, as I've brought along a few, spare tools. So he offers enough that you're able to improvise a makeshift repair to the cart.
Okay, well, yeah, I would say that Rick would also have brought some era-appropriate tools as well.
All right, so you get that done relatively efficiently. I'm not going to have you roll as a Starfleet engineer on whether or not you repair a wooden cart, especially with Bryce's help. So Hasra at this point says,
very good. Now, which one of you will get information, one of you will get the broth. Choose wisely.
I think I will take the broth. Would you mind getting the information there?
All right. Hazard,
Takes Bryce aside for a moment. Well, you are left with you are left with a small bowl of the broth. It's very bubbly, very spicy, and very meaty. You must roll. Let's go with a fitness security to successfully consume this. You do. It punches. It feels like it actually punches you. But at the same time, it's okay. You consume the broth. Bryce gives you a nod, and Hassan returns to his cart and just says,
I wish you the best on your travels.
That was quite a punch that stew had.
Hassan, his own mother's recipe. It's you right here.
and he basically thumps himself on the chest.
Can I do an insight check on him? I mean, he's not going to be doing...
Yes.
Command? Insight command?
Insight command.
So that's also 4, but that's 7 insight, so 11. Not 1!
Hazra definitely... Yay! Hazra definitely seemed off to you. Like, not human off.
Does he, like, seem familiar at all? Like, beyond, like...
Has Rick ever encountered Hazra before?
He's had the snow cones on Riser.
Okay, so he does remind... Basically, it's like, you really get the impression that this person really reminds you of Hazra.
I'm sure I've met someone like you before, but you couldn't be here. It was quite a far distance away.
Well, I may be here, there. What's to say?
And he just gives you a very piercing smile.
So Rick just sort of pauses, looks at Hassan. I think that was the right name.
Yeah, it's Hassan. The right name is Hassan.
Yeah. Do you happen to know Hazra by any chance?
No, that doesn't sound like a name that belongs on Earth.
Well, it's no. Well, I guess it doesn't.
And at this point, basically a small collective of farm workers approaches the cart, and Hazra just nods to Rick, and he is otherwise occupied.
Alright, so, yeah, he just steps about the way, he just looks at Hazra as he deals with the farm workers, and just looks to Bryce, and motions them to go back to the rest of the group, and that guy seemed terribly familiar. It's like Hazra.
Bryce nods and says, well, we are here on a temporal assignment. Other individuals could be here as well for similar reasons. Well, the individual in question did impart on me some news that he did see some what looked like important people come off the train that we just arrived on. Not typical for this town.
Did he give a description?
One was dressed in a very well-tailored red suit. The others were simply wearing black.
Do we know where they went? Maybe we could try and figure out why they happened.
With so little to provide, I'm afraid I wasn't able to secure that information.
Alright, well, let's fill the others in with the information. Perhaps we can find somewhere else. Or find where they went. You did say the saloon would be an area for congregation.
Yeah, and the crew may be there as well, so let's head out. So the two proceed to Simon and Sal's saloon. It's a relatively large building for the town. Nice, large porch on the front, nice awning, some chairs. Few people gathered around at this hour, a few horses hitched up right at the front, and the sound of piano music, as well as the classic swinging saloon doors. Setsa and Kara will have already arrived at the saloon, as well as anyone who would have naturally congregated there as well. I believe Graves, along with Chorog, acting as his assistant, would also be in the saloon.
So Kara just kind of waves the group together and says, as far as the mission goes, I didn't learn anything. But I'll tell you right now, don't start any trouble in town. From what I've seen, the sheriff is one of those shoot first and never ask questions kind of people.
So where are Waitley, Eli, and Checkers?
When Waitley got off the train after he did the scan to figure out where the dilithium was and saw that there was something going on, and everybody kind of dispersed and went about their way to figure out this mystery, he started looking for basically either a general store, apothecary, or doctor shop.
The general store would have been where he would have gone between those.
Okay.
One is in town, so we'll cover the Yeah, so let's go ahead and cover the apothecary real quick.
All right.
Or sorry, general store.
So Waitley walks into the general store and looks around, and if the shopkeep is busy, he just kind of peruses around and waits for the shop to empty out. As soon as the shop's empty... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so the shop isn't particularly full right now, so it's not a long way for the one customer to head out.
All right, so Waitley is going to approach the counter and walk up and says, good evening, oh wait, what time of day is it when we get there, by the way?
Let's go ahead and say it's afternoon, so later afternoon.
Good afternoon, good sir. My name is Professor Waitley. I am just in off the train, and I was hoping perhaps you could help me with some research that I am working on. You seem like the kind of man who might know a few things about the area.
Well, Sonny, the first thing I can tell you is that I'm no man, but maybe off in Philadelphia or wherever you come from. Can't quite tell.
He smiles and says, indeed, I have been on the road for quite some time. My eyes are... He takes the glasses off and rubs them, blows on them, and says, the eyes are getting old and weary. I apologize. I meant no offense.
Well, you city slickers can't be helped. Guess God's charity is owing you. So, what can old Mildred help you with today?
I am looking for some... I'm not sure how to explain this. In my travels, in my research, I have been told of some very interesting geological formations in the near area, and I was hoping perhaps you were familiar with some old folk tales or know some people that had found something along those lines.
Well, if you're looking for gold, I'm afraid I must disappoint. No one's found any of that around here.
Oh, no,
Can't
not...
say anyone's really come back,
She just holds up a finger.
with much more than looks of disappointment while they've been digging around, so... Don't know what you mean by interesting geological formations otherwise.
Rare minerals, not particularly rare as far as monetary value, but rare as far as, well, many people haven't seen it much.
Well, most of what I do is just giving people some hardtack jerky. Can't really rightly tell you where something like that would be.
You wouldn't know anyone in town who might share my interest and predilection for such things, would you?
I might be over at the saloon. Might be a few prospectors remaining over there, drinking their sorrows away.
Thank you very much. And before I go, is there anything I should know as a newcomer to town? Any, Yankee mannerisms I should perhaps leave on the train, so to speak?
Now, don't piss off Sheriff Archibald Smith there. Gotten you downright dead.
I see the sheriff is known for a temper, you say.
Oh, more for solving problems real quick and not letting them build too much.
Ah, I see. A pragmatic man, one might say.
Aye, fancy word there, Philadelphia boy.
He smiles and laughs and says, indeed. Thank you very much. Do you have any specials, anything that I might find of interest? And he starts patting at his vest and says, oh my, I know I forgot something on the train. He gets a panicked look on his face as he realizes in all his research he completely forgot about money. I must go speak with my acquaintances. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure I will see you again very soon. And he hurriedly leaves and says, oh shit.
So that happens. So he proceeds over to the saloon where everyone is at this time. It's a bit bustling at this hour, just the late day traffic coming in, a few candles and chandeliers giving the place a nice warm amber glow. Music playing, people talking, and the crew has variously been able to find a few tables off in the back.
Kara heads over to the bar, and first she pulls out, some money that she brought with her because, well, she remembered that you have to exchange money for goods and services. And she gets the barkeeper's attention.
Howdy there, stranger.
Well, hello there, sugar. Do you happen to have any rum behind that bar of yours?
Oh, we got all kinds of drinks around these parts.
So Kara pulls out, $2 bills and just slides them across the table and says, "Give me your best bottle of rum, sugar. It's gonna be a night."
The bartender just kind of looks down at the money, back at Kara, and then back at the money, just grabs it and just leaves an entire bottle of rum on the counter.
"Keep the change, sugar. I'm sure we'll be making friends later." She bats her eyes at him and grabs the bottle and heads back to the table.
Marcus is sitting with Chorog. Setsa is just sort of sitting there, just taking a look around, just trying to find anything of interest, but not quite feeling at home here.
Kara pours out the rum to people at the table, just looks over at Marcus and says, "I bet we could probably bribe people around here."
Pretty easily, I think.
You know who probably knows something?
Who?
Probably won't be cheap, but I bet you that bartender knows something. People come in here, they say all kinds of things, and bartenders always hear it. You can ask Grimnir about that.
Good thinking. Let's see. You just talked to him and gave him some money, right?
I just talked to him, and let's just say I paid very well for the most expensive vintage he had. And by the look on his face, he knew well how much money that was. So, I think we are already on point for showing him that for his assistance and silence, we can be very generous.
All right. Yeah, afraid I'm not going to be too much help here. Just with some of my old ways. Do you want to talk to him alone, or do you want to have a little bit of support here?
Where's Eli? We get Eli to go talk to him. I got rum.
I'm thinking Checkers. What about Checkers?
Checkers is there.
Checkers or Eli. Either one.
It's going to be Checkers.
Chorog
So-
will talk to
All
him.
right.
First off, does Checkers have his own money?
Yeah, he's literally the money man in the future, so he's definitely figured out money here too.
Well, in that case, Kara's not going to pass him any more of hers.
All right, so I'm going to say independently, Checkers is of the type that he's settling down into the saloon. He's going to go to the bar. So
Yep.
it's him up now against the bartender.
Chorog's
Wagner's
gonna
up to the
go.
bar.
Chorog's gonna go.
Chorog isn't going yet. Not yet.
No, I was gonna go hang around some of the more seedy characters, see what I could learn.
Okie dokie. Oh, thumbs up. So,
Checkers approaches the bar and leans on it, his top hat still on his head. Greetings, my friend.
Howdy there, stranger. Well, you looking like one kind of fancy fella. Got any special occasions planned later today?
No, you see, I always dress like this. I look amazing, don't I?
I reckon you do.
Indeed, I am looking for your finest bottle of whiskey. Kentucky, preferably.
Let me see what I got behind the bar here. Only
You know what? Whiskey for everyone! He pops just like $10 on the bar. Whiskey for everyone.
he's gonna
how
be
many
able to
people?
buy his
$10, you
own-
could just buy the bar.
How many people are in the bar right now?
Quite a few, at least 2 dozen.
Yeah, $10 should probably cover a round of whiskey for everyone in the bar, right?
I mean, that's going to cover the bar, like the physical building it's built in.
Really?
Okay.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh, oh no, I'm thinking slightly different. So I'm thinking British currency at this time. So like 10
Yeah.
pounds, yeah.
So $10 back then was about a little over $325.
Okay.
Well, okay then. That'll definitely cover everyone in the bar. In that case, upon seeing a crisp $10 bill lying just slammed down on his bar, bartender just goes a bit bug-eyed, and for a second, and just kind of snatches it away before they can change their mind, and goes and gets busy grabbing a bunch of bottles from behind the bar.
It gets pretty raucous, bar, as everyone starts crowding around, shaking, patting Checkers appreciatively on the shoulders and just giving him a big thumbs up and just saying, "Good man, hey!"
You new people in town got some large pockets, it would seem.
And perhaps my pockets can become your pockets. You know anything that might be valuable to hear?
Well, I reckon I know a lot of things round these parts.
I have open ears, my friend.
Well, if I don't like to be known for spreading rumors, you hear. You may...
Of course.
But since you're such a good customer to me, I may or may not know a thing or two about a certain individual passing through here of significance.
Please go on.
Oh no, I shouldn't. I mean, you may have bought the bar drinks, but that's all you've bought so far. And
Perhaps I can buy you a drink as well. He puts $5 more on the bar, slides it over, just discreetly.
bartender gives a thankful nod as they slide the money off the counter. Well, let me think for a second. Oh yeah, something's coming back to me now. That train, I assume you just came in on the train, right?
Indeed.
That train you just came in on is carrying another mighty wealthy individual, much like yourself. Goes by the name of Cartwright Dewitt.
Cartwright. Indeed. I believe I may have heard of him before, but give me a reminder, please. If you have heard of him, that is.
I don't know. My mind's a little bit fuzzy. And they kind of hold their hand out a little nonchalantly.
I love this.
Rich puts $5 more down. And by the way, he's not pulling them from his pocket. He keeps reaching into his hat for them.
The bartender now very obviously greedily eyeing that top hat of his, nods his head one more time and says, "Oh, it's just come back to me all of a sudden. Yeah, they own the Herschel Dewitt Mining Company."
Mining company? Ooh, that sounds like a venture I can invest in.
I have a couple more, one more rumor I could be willing to part with, if you're willing.
Perhaps. But I must ask you, do you have any food here?
Well, for my best customer, I got plenty of food.
Then please, let the food flow. We'll discuss it over dinner. Your place.
I'm still, right now, I'm still pouring drinks during this conversation for the whole bar, because you just ordered that. I'll look around the bar while pouring, and I'll turn back to you. Maybe. Give me a spell to finish up my work here, and then we'll talk.
Of course. He sips the whiskey that he got for himself.
So you've got the whiskey, you've got that going on. So we've got Chorog trying to find the seedier parts of the here for the saloon. What you find is a bunch of rough-looking people off in the opposite corner from where the Reliant crew is. A couple of guys in particular strike you as particularly imposing. Rough, but very also efficient in how they seem to be dressed.
Chorog sees them, has been eyeing them for some time, thinks to himself, these guys know something, I can get something out of them. So he quietly slips away from the main group, goes and grabs a chair by a nearby table, and, slowly drinking from his drink, begins to listen into their conversation. They're not being too quiet about it either. They're talking about the...
Hold on. I'm the DM, and there's an idea for what these characters are. So one of them says, Abraham, I think that here stranger's trying to listen in on us.
I do believe it right.
Like someone reaching the hand into the cookie jar, thinking the Lord doesn't see them pull it out. The Lord sees everything.
That he do.
They both turn to Chorog.
And now that means I could post this picture for everyone to see. I didn't make one for... I didn't make one for
the character I'm playing right now.
Yeah,
imagine just a seedy looking dude, but also primly dressed as well.
You know what? Just honestly, there's. Oh fuck! I posted the same one twice. Give me a second.
So the first one though, Abraham is a man in black vest, white shirt, rolled up with another puff tie.
Oh God!
In red.
Oh God!
Another puff tie, and a relatively small hat curled up at the sides. His companion's also wearing a black vest, but a little bit longer sleeves and an open collar with similar hats, but in black versus dark blue. First man says, "So, stranger, gonna try to sneak past the Lord today?"
Well, so how did you describe Abraham's hat?
I just said relatively small with curled up sides.
It's a Civil War cavalry hat. It even still has the markings on it.
Ah, gotcha.
I mean, yeah, you could see the crossed swords, all that.
Yeah, I'm just not familiar with a lot of Civil War era stuff.
That's fine.
Or the uniforms. There we go. So, they're both looking at Jorog. What does Jorog say?
You speak of your lord. I can arrange a first-hand meeting.
Graves comes over, puts a hand on Chorog's shoulder, and says, let's not start any trouble tonight, lad. Disturb these people, I think we owe them a little bit of a drink if they don't want our company, or if they want to talk, they can talk. Really not here to do much more than just rest and, get a little bit of, as say it, shut eye.
Chorog. At this point, Chorog already has his hand slightly on his pistol, but he already removes it and says, "Very well." He gets up, looks at the gentleman at the next table, and says, "I'll be seeing you again."
Looking forward to it. Okay, I gotta drop that accent. It's
right. So Graves goes ahead, actually sits down with the group and says, apologies for the man. Good with a gun, but a little bit of trigger happy, especially in somewhere new. My name's Graves.
You can call me Abraham.
Hi, Abraham. Serious about that drink, though. Sorry about disturbing your evening here.
Oh, no, it's fine. My associate is a bit... I don't know how to put it, but...
I am a man who knows where he stands. Twixt the bosom of the Lord and the rippling thighs of the demon down below. Graves just gives him a long look, turns back to Abraham and says, "Aye."
Does what?
Oh, he just says, he just sort of says, "Aye." Just like exasperated, like, yep, that's a person.
You see, he is a very talented man. I've been working with him a lot lately.
I see. Well, bounty hunter by trade myself. Wouldn't mind earning a little bit of money here and there.
So you're
know
good
any
with
openings?
You consider yourself a
pretty good with
shootist?
Well, more of a hobbyist.
I mean, are you
Back
good?
in the day, well, yeah, I'm good with a gun, but I wouldn't say I'm a trick shooter or anything like that. Just proficient enough to get the job done.
Alright. We might have something. We just gotta see how you handle things.
Many, his partner says, many would try
deceive the Lord, but the Lord sees.
And he just stands up and walks out. Graves says, "So, doing anything in here, or are we going somewhere else?"
So Rick...
Wait, who is he talking to?
He's still talking to Abraham, who's seated at the table.
Alright, we should head outside.
Alright, so Marcus and Abraham proceed to do so. So, Rick, do you have anything?
Well, I was just going to say that we sort of finally arrived at the bridge and fill the group in about the man that we found, the red and the black people that we found. That was described to us.
So you've relayed that intel to the rest of the group. Has Checkers is still with the barkeep, correct?
Yes.
Ara, meanwhile, is like, the feck is Hazra doing here? But she says it quietly and only to the table.
Set said it just takes that news in perfect stride and just does not. It's just, yeah, okay, he's here.
It's one of those things. Her tone is not one of wonderment, but just idle curiosity as to what in the hell he sees in value here.
So, where is Waitley at this point?
Waitley's probably just making his way into the saloon by now.
Alrighty. It's raucous, but with so many people concentrated up front for the whiskey, you can easily spot the group seated.
Waitley looks around and slowly makes his way toward Eli.
Eli nods.
Waitley has a seat and says, "Well, any luck finding what we're looking for?"
We have a potential lead. We know that this person that just arrived, red suit, had some people with him, looked fairly irregular for what our contact said.
Well, you do realize they're going to be saying that about us, right?
Well, yes, but we know who we are.
Point taken. Give me a second. And Waitley just kind of turns and looks around the bar and opens his mind. What role am I making to pick up on what everybody in the bar is thinking?
Command present. Actually, yeah, command presence, but let's go ahead. I'm going to go to spend 3 threat to drop your complication range down to 17, simply because there's a lot of drunk people here with strange urges.
Because Waitley is extremely a stranger to strange urges. 2 successes.
So, you've got a lot of raucous people in the town that are basically really happy to be getting free booze right now. The barkeep you recognize as having a very profitable evening, not just for the business going on up front, but the exchange of information between him and Checkers. Checkers is doing a good job, and you're confident that he is able to secure that information. You also sense that Captain Graves has just left with one seedy character, and another seedy character is waiting up ahead. There's no dangerous intent, but that's a thing going on right now. The others are sitting at a table just conversing about what they have going on, and upstairs you find a couple of people who are engaged in a very mutually beneficial activity.
Okay. Okay. Waitley is going to stand up and say, I'm going to go for a walk.
He goes for a walk.
And Waitley's basically going to kind of walk around town, meandering, just looking around, trying not to look at a place, trying not to draw suspicion to himself. He's basically going to start walking in the general direction that he knows the dilithium is. He's not going all the way there, but he's heading in that general direction as he's walking around town, and he's just kind of poking and prodding into people's minds, trying to figure out if anybody is out of place.
Not that you sense.
Okay. And then after he's made his rounds, he'll start making his way to where Graves went to make sure he's okay.
All right. So Graves and Abraham are off in a relatively secluded area to basically show off for Graves, to kind of prove himself. So what does Abraham do?
All right, he takes him down the road, tries to get him to the back, like where no one's looking. All right, so how much of a moral moral intent do you have?
Yeah, like to do the right thing on occasion.
On occasion.
Otherwise-
Alright, I could work with that.
Yeah. Otherwise, just doing what I need to get by.
Alright, well, how do you feel about trains?
Trains are fun. Haven't been able to go on too many, but recent trips been a good one.
Alright. Well, we have a bit of a job.
And you're just offering it to me like that. Come
Well-
on, man.
No, I'm not offering it to you like that. I need you to do something for me first. I'm not giving you any details, and, well, if you try to say anything, no one's going to believe you. If that sheriff comes over here, you think he's going to shoot me? I'm a veteran. I served in the Spanish-American War.
I shoot us both from what I've heard about him.
Yeah, but he likes me.
Yeah.
He is
We'll see
a
about
very
that, but
patriotic man.
I'll take your word for it. So what do you need?
I want you... Well, I'm trying to think of something for you.
I'm good with a gun. I'm a bounty hunter. And now that... Yeah, I know my associate there, Mr. Rog. He's pretty good with lockpicks.
Well, I've had some boys out around a mile giving me some trouble. So, you could ride up with me. We'll put an end to them. How about that? We'll see if you're good with that.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I was just typing in chat real quick.
So, I got some boys a mile or two outside of town giving me a bit of trouble. You could ride out with me, and we'll put an end to them.
Now, what kind of trouble are you talking about here?
The kind of trouble
Federal marshal trouble?
No. Why would I, a proud American citizen, want to disrupt the federal government? No. I have some men that do not like me very well. They're not good men either, so no skin off my back.
All right. Well, talking
Should be
about
any skin
murder
off yours.
there. Well, talking about murder there without a bounty on him, that's kind of a lot to deal with. Especially for a man just passing through.
Well, a bounty is
Tell you what.
Listen, it's such a... It's... Bounties are for people who get caught with what they're doing. These men, they're moonshiners, they're murderers.
Yeah, you say that, but at the same time, if the lawman knows that I'm involved, that's a lot of stuff just for a job there. Tell you what exactly is the trouble here? I'm a bounty hunter, but I'm also pretty good at negotiating.
They
Getting
want to
people
shoot
to get on
me
the same
because
side.
They want to shoot me because they want in on my business.
Might be able to offer some more business. Got a few well-connected people I know. Not really fit for my work, but...
Maybe you're not cut out for this job.
You say that, but at the same time, I'm offering to take care of your problem in a way that doesn't get the lawman wise something going on here. Because if you're up to something, a bunch of people go off and die, he's going to say,
Three people.
People are in town.
See? Only 3 people. And they have a moonshine still. We can make it look like they did something wrong with the still.
You know what? Let's put it this way. Take care of your problem, and we'll talk. Got that?
Alright.
Alright. Graves just sighs and just heads over back to the saloon.
Abraham shakes his head and walks out. Off into the night.
Graves is not going to go murder people. That was tough. It's like, it works, but at the same time, he's also going to be thinking about being a Starfleet officer. So we'll see what comes of that, but that's good.
How about
So
aggressively,
Graves is walking...
aggressively persuade them to do it to elsewhere?
I was thinking about the Checkers way out.
Hey, send Checkers and Chorog. They'll take care of it.
Checkers has no qualms
Okay.
about shooting anyone.
Yeah, so you might, yeah. So we'll see what comes of that. But so Graves is walking back towards the saloon. So Waitley is walking about. Does Waitley approach Graves?
If I'm gonna take a wild guess, Waitley is detecting not exactly what happened, but kind of has an idea of what just happened.
Yeah, so he's kind of got the emotional current, definitely, of them trying to negotiate around each other, not quite seeing eye to eye, but Graves is like, yeah, I'm going to see what we can do about that.
All right. I imagine at this point, Waitley's done his little walkabout and has figured there's nothing really suspicious in town for what their reason for being here is. So yeah, he'll approach Graves. He'll not sneak up behind him, but he'll just kind of fall into line behind him and go, "Ah, there you are, sir."
Yeah, just a second. I gotta type something to Eli. Okie dokie. So, he says, yeah, well, nothing really happened, but at the same time, it's hard blending in here.
I'm getting the impression that we are just bordering on not being careful. No one's suspicious of us yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, because on the one hand, got people with interests here. On the other hand, we can't really play to those as straight as people would otherwise. I mean, Abraham fellow there. It's up to something. Tried to come in on it, but at the same time, my rite of passage was going off and disposing of 3 moonshiners off doing something. Might do it himself. That might be the natural course of things, but at the same time, I really don't have much to go on there. So do I just go off and shoot 3 people on the assumption that, hey, temporal McCown, or do I try to play it straighter?
Waitley quirks an eyebrow and says, "Is this our only lead so far?"
No, I was just seeing where that one was going and trying to keep to my own limits. So I don't think we need to resort to anything just yet. It's just a developing situation we should be aware of. Because if something does happen, we may be implicated. Being strangers and probably not the best connected people around here.
Indeed.
Something kind of niggles at the back of Graves' mind. I'm going to roll it this way. And he just kind of takes a long look back, kind of narrows his eyes a little bit, and just looks back and says, so Hosra's here, potentially. Said, right? Or someone said.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Waitley ever picked up on that.
No, never. Waitley was, he didn't pick up on that from the rest of the group. So he just says, Hosra might be here. Others might be too.
Waitley stops dead in his tracks and says, "Excuse me?"
Well, someone very much like Hosra, so either cosmic coincidence or he's actually, up to a little bit of time-traveling shenanigans himself.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I'll just have to see. For the meantime, we should probably head back to the saloon, rest up, continue on the train tomorrow. And also, we might need some counterfeit tickets to actually get on that train.
From what I could tell in the saloon, that should not be a difficult problem that we have.
Sounds good. Graves just gives Waitley a pat on the shoulder and says, well, let's just turn in for the night, I guess.
Waitley just follows suit to the saloon.
So, they enter the saloon, and we're going to be wrapping up here shortly, but is anyone up to anything in said saloon?
Well, at this point, Setsa and Kara have probably finished off that bottle of rum.
Setsa's being careful. She's had some recent run-ins with alcohol and wants to keep a tighter lid on herself. So she's just kind of sitting, mostly quiet, taking a look around and just not getting into too much without prodding.
Well, in that case, Kara's probably prodded her a bit, but most of the rum went into Kara or anyone else at the table who would have wanted it, so Kara's probably smashed.
Rick probably would have taken at least some of that, just to prevent Kara from drinking all of it.
Bryce too, maybe.
Eli's having some.
Okay, sounds like we divided it up enough that at least Kara won't have alcohol poisoning.
No. So you're at the table. The saloon's getting a little bit raucous, but at the same time, some people are emptying out. Music playing.
So we got arrangements for the night. Kara says, head on the table.
I think it's about time we made some.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, these inns do generally have rooms to rent.
Yeah. So, do you have any more of that money?
Kara, reaches under her skirt and carefully pulls out the whole wad of cash from her garter and just passes that to Setsa. Don't use all that, you hear?
I'll try to be careful in my negotiations.
So she heads up to the bar.
Out of there.
So the person you see in front of you, lovely looking, but a little bit formal looking woman. Relatively nice dress. You can kind of tell maybe a little bit of money. She says to you,
Hi there. You and my companions are traveling through, and I'm afraid we failed to make arrangements prior to this point for where we're going to be staying. Would there be rooms available at this establishment?
Oh, of course, we can provide rooms to weary travelers. But you'll want to talk to Simon about rooms. I handle the bar. He handles pretty much everything else around here.
Okay, where is this Simon person?
You can find him over by the stairs right there. And he nods his head towards a table that's sitting next to the staircase. And over there you can see another person reading some papers.
do you want Simon?
What?
Oh, do you want to play Simon?
I can.
Okay. So, Setsa heads over to Simon.
Says, good evening, Mr. Simon. I'm, looking to arrange some accommodations for my, companions. About 8 in number.
Simon looks up from the papers they're reading, and they do some. They think about it for a second after hearing how many people are there, and they say, "How many rooms are you gonna need between the 8 of you?"
That would easily divide into 4 rooms, if that can be arranged, but I suppose we can bunk up, more so, if desired.
Right now, we only got 3 open rooms right now, so.
Suppose that will suffice.
Well, all
How
right.
much will that be?
Let me look right here. Well, for just the rooms and a bed, I want to say, $3.
That,
She takes a look at the money, counts it out, and says,
I can also buy additional services if those are also provided.
Oh, yes, of course.
Breakfast?
That's another 10 cents a room.
Most agreeable. Are there bathing facilities here?
Well, depends on how open you are. Got a horse trough out front, but if that's a little too public for your liking, we can heat up some water. We got a couple tubs.
The tubs will be preferable to the horse water out front.
so
Right.
she'll go ahead and pay the required sum and just bows primly and says,
Thank you, you've been a most agreeable host.
No problem.
and with that she bambles over back to the group and lets them know about the accommodations. Bryce just nods and says, I'll be a moment outside, and heads out, and the rest are able to proceed upstairs for the night.
Before after they walk away to talk to Simon, Sal finally finishes up now that the bar's gotten a little less busy and turns back to Checkers. Now then, about that meeting.
Indeed.
Why don't you grab your a few of your associates and come on into the back with me, and we'll talk for a spell.
One quick note is that we are out of time right now, so we gotta proceed to a good part 2. I figured that would be the crew finishing up for the night. So if there's going to be this private meeting, it's probably going to be between Checkers and Sal.
Oh no, I wasn't planning on having the actual thing happen tonight because I knew we were running low on time. I was just trying to set up they're going in the back to talk, and then that can happen next time or something.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and have Checkers and Sal go into the back to talk. Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
So the rest of the crew is left to decide what their arrangement is. They've got 3 rooms presumably enough beds to go between them, but it's probably going to be 3 to a room.
All right, so girls get a room to themselves, or is the captain claiming prerogative there?
Setsa smiles and says,
Well, I suppose bounty hunter would be someone mighty fine to share a bed with at once.
Marcus looks over, just says, I'd be comfortable bunking up with guys if you two want to spend the night together. Leans back and says, local women here know how to provide a little bit of a good time, especially those that have more of a, let's just say, pragmatic approach to the arts. Some might call him a courtesan.
Oh,
Let's say
sugar.
Kara.
Are you trying to get my attention now?
I think Sets is trying to get your attention, but let's just go ahead. Turn in for the night. He says, all right. Chorog, where are you going?
I can shack up with Watley. That's fine. I don't require a lot of sleep, so I could stand watch.
All right. Waitley, you, Chorog,
Skipper, too.
Bryce. Wait, Skipper?
Yeah,
Yeah, Waitley's eyes go wide, says, wait, the dog's with us? Wait, what?
Hey, you leave Skipper alone.
Wait, is Skipper on the planet with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, Skipper came out of the train car earlier. You're the one who actually said that.
No, Graves didn't say that. That was me, my narration.
Yeah, well,
Skipper's
yeah,
with
but
us.
sorry, telling the difference between you as a DM and what Graves is saying is a little tough. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, so the idea was that nobody knew that the dog was with them on the transporter pad. Because no one had seen that in the transporter room. That was last comment before we went on break.
Oh, yeah, Skipper wander up and brush against Trog's leg.
No, Skipper's off.
Oh.
Skipper's off. So there's just like Marcus just says, shakes his head. Now contact the ship, see if they can find her. All right, so guess I'll be with Eli and Checkers then, and Rick.
Well, Bryce. So Bryce is okay.
Bryce was with Chorog and Waitley.
Okay. All right. So that'll be the three of us.
4, but looks like Checkers might have his own arrangements tonight. So let's just head up there. And the crew proceeds up. So everyone's getting ready for the night. It's pretty, meager accommodations. 2 bunk beds to a room, so 4 beds in total each. But they're able to settle in just fine. Outside, though, Bryce is walking around, just taking a look at things, just reading his book, when there's a sound behind him. He turns, and there's the fizz of a glowing electric blue prod. Before he can really react, it's pressed into his chest, and he falls backwards. Figure, though,
this is why you don't read while walking.
the figure then just hurries off, and Bryce is just left there, eyes open, on the ground. Small dog comes over, starts barking at Bryce, and there we go. Last scene for the night.
Oh, I had
conclude?
one.
Oh, okay. So that's the last scene I have for the night. So we can leave this open to the usual post, basically, residual scenes after the main plot is done. But that is the last part I've got for tonight as the DM, and we'll continue on with part 2 next time.
Okay. Go on, Nick.
But yeah, I just had one just one person roll me what essentially is a perception check for hearing.
Okay.
Just one person.
I'll go with Setsa. She hasn't done too much tonight. Yay!
Classic Setsa.
One success, one complication.
Somewhere, couple miles out, a very loud noise is heard, but it's very hard to discern what it is. It sounds like it's coming from the east.
Setsa looks out the window, makes note of that, turns back, kind of just furrows her brows for a minute, then just says,
Okay, we've got the room alone tonight, and guess we'll just settle in here on these separate bunk beds.
Aw, sugar, you sure you wouldn't rather share some body heat on a cold night like this?
That,
Sets of blushes, turns to you.
Queen says, I don't know. I mean, led such a sheltered upbringing up in Boston. Father put me through college and all that, and making my way as a, struggling academic. Human society at this point is so male-biased. I gotta keep my reputation intact.
Kara just giggles, already stripping off her clothes. Boy, you're really getting into this, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
She dresses down, slips into the bed, just pats it and says,
Alright, come over here, silly. You're a pet for once.
Kara goes over and snuggles up to her, but she also makes sure that the shotgun is within easy reach of the bed.
that, go good night. Anyone else have anything?
Rick does want to do a quick scan of the area to make sure that, for structural stability and for make sure that there's no listening equipment.
Alrighty, so you're scanning for tech, and you're scanning for the structural integrity of the building.
Tech is the primary thing, but he just wants to.
So engineering insight.
If he rolls double 20s, does the building just collapse on us all right now?
He runs out in the street panicking that it's on fire. Also, as he's settling in for bed, he's going to do this in his sleep shirt.
Any focus? No.
Yep, I'm going to spend 2 threat, complication range 18.
Focus. Inside is not my best stat, but I got a 1. Got 1.
You got 1 success. Also, I said complication range 18, so you've also got 1 success, 1 complication. So, you don't detect any listening devices. And through your scan, though, you don't detect that Bryce is currently unconscious just outside the building. So the building appears stable, sound, and you don't detect any listening devices, but you also don't get the heads up that something has happened to Bryce.
Alrighty then.